Frankenstein, the famous work of the English writer Mary Shelley, has endured as one of the pillars of the Gothic and science fiction genre. Since its publication in 1818, the novel has captured the imagination of generations of readers and spawned a host of film adaptations, plays, and literary analyses. The story of Frankenstein not only addresses questions of science and morality, but also raises fundamental questions about human nature, creation, and the consequences of the excessive desire for power. In this video, we will explore the origin and central themes of this work and how it remains relevant today. Mary Shelley conceived the idea of Frankenstein in 1816 when she was on a summer stay in Switzerland, along with her husband, the poet Percy Bysshe Shelley, and the writer Lord Byron. During that time, the cold and rainy weather led them to spend time inside the house, causing the friends to challenge each other to write horror stories. Thus, on a stormy night, Mary Shelley dreamed of a vision of a man who had created a creature from corpse parts, only to be horrified by his own creation. That dream was the spark that ignited the idea for his famous novel. The story was first published in 1818 anonymously. The work was an immediate success, although the public initially did not know that a woman had been the author. Mary Shelley's name was revealed in the 1823 edition, and the novel has remained one of the greatest achievements of English literature. Frankenstein follows the story of Victor Frankenstein, a young science student at the University of Ingolstadt, who, obsessed with the idea of overcoming death, seeks to create life from corpses. Through a series of experiments, Frankenstein manages to bring to life a creature made of human body parts. However, upon seeing the hideous appearance of his creation, he immediately rejects it and flees in terror. The creature, who is unnamed in the original work, faces a lonely existence, rejected by society due to his monstrous appearance. As the story progresses, the creature seeks revenge against his creator, triggering a chase in which both Frankenstein and his monster face their own moral and existential dilemmas. Throughout the novel, the destructive effects of human arrogance and the dangers of playing God are explored. Victor Frankenstein represents the archetype of the scientist obsessed with his desire for knowledge and power, without considering the consequences of his actions. The creature, on the other hand, symbolizes the tragedy of creation and abandonment, being both victim and villain, making clear the complexity of human nature. One of the most prominent themes in Frankenstein is the pursuit of knowledge and its consequences. Victor Frankenstein is a character who is obsessed with the idea of understanding the mysteries of life and death. His drive leads him to conduct experiments that not only defy natural laws, but also ignore the ethical implications of his actions. Through her story, Shelley seems to warn about the dangers of science without conscience and the excessive desire for power. Another central theme in the novel is the question of morality and responsibility. Although the creature is initially harmless and seeks acceptance, his experiences of rejection and abuse transform him into a vengeful and destructive being. The story raises questions about the responsibility of creation and whether, by creating life, one assumes a moral obligation toward one's creation. In this sense, Frankenstein is not only guilty for his own arrogance, but also for abandoning the creature and not giving him the opportunity to integrate into society. Loneliness is another recurring theme in Frankenstein. The creature, despite being Frankenstein's creation, is completely alone in the world with no friends, no father figure, and no understanding. His isolation leads him into a spiral of despair and rage, which causes the tragedy that unfolds in the novel. Similarly, Frankenstein also experiences loneliness, not only because of his obsession with his experiments, but also because of the loss of his loved ones as a result of his decisions. Finally, the theme of revenge and justice plays a crucial role in the story. The creature seeks revenge on his creator for the pain he has suffered at the hands of society and for Frankenstein's negligence. Throughout the novel, both the creature and Frankenstein struggle with their own desires for revenge and the anguish it causes them. In the end, the novel makes clear that revenge only perpetuates more suffering, without offering any real form of justice or redemption. Over the years, Frankenstein has been adapted countless times in film, television, theater, and literature. The image of the monster created by Frankenstein has become part of the collective imagination, often distorted by film adaptations that have emphasized its physical appearance more than its emotional and philosophical complexity. However, the novel remains a fundamental text for understanding the ethical and philosophical dilemmas of science and creation. The figure of Frankenstein has been interpreted as a reflection of the social and cultural fears of his time. The scientific revolution and advances in medicine and biology raised concerns about the limits of human knowledge. Additionally, the novel anticipated modern debates about ethics in science, especially in areas such as cloning, genetic engineering, and artificial intelligence. Frankenstein remains a seminal work of literature, not only exploring the limits of human knowledge and creation, but also addressing universal questions about identity, morality, and responsibility. The story of Victor Frankenstein and his monster continues to be relevant, reminding us that the pursuit of knowledge must be accompanied by deep ethical reflection. If you want to see other interesting stories, you can follow me on my YouTube channel, Frank Fernandez Historia,